Good day, everyone. Well, I got a little tractor out here today. I got to do a little brush hogging before I get to combining too much. I got, back of that one field that I always talk about, the nutsedge and stuff coming up. Well, it's up. Everything I sprayed on the nutsedge to kill the nutsedge just drank it and laughed and said, "Give me some more." So I got to try and cut it down a little bit. Not that is it going to matter one way or the other at this point in time? Absolutely not. But at least I'll have the trail around that whole field cut down, so I don't know, make me feel better about life when I get to combining. Anyway, and there's some cool stuff back there that I kind of wanted to show you guys. Don't mind the drill. Let's get after it. 165 is looking all noble and ready to go to work here. It hasn't rained here, guys, in a month. I found mud. That just happens for me sometimes. But I gotta say, I haven't used this thing since I planted corn, and that was back in May. Fire's right up. She's always ready for more. Let's go get after this a little bit. It's always handy to have a small one on the farm, guys, especially a gasser. Just like that, she's ready to go to work. Number 3, it's starting to go. It's about a month behind the other corn, I think, but hey, whatever. Turned out better than I expected. Well, back that up. Hopefully it turns out as good as I can expect it to. Soybeans up here are looking really good. Here's that soybean field I expected to go 20 bushels an acre. She's looking a lot better than that right now. Unbelievable. I don't know how, but I mean, I'll take that. Starting to turn a little bit. That late season spray that I had my buddy Matt help me out with really worked good, especially on this field because it was still far enough behind where I could legally spray it. The other two were well beyond that, so of course I got some late season weeds out there. There ain't nothing I can do about now, but whatever. I don't think it hurt the yield, if any. My second field, the one I need to go 28 bushels the acre to make a profit on. Turning real fast here, guys. Yeah, like I said, a couple late season water hemps that they're just hard to kill. Not much I can do. I did as much spraying as I could out here. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to run along the edge of here, turn all this down. I'm going to get to the back there and along the other side. Get all this around this field cut. There's a couple cool trucks back there I want to show you. So let me get brush on. That's better. I'm gonna get my four-wheeler back here now. That's gonna plant a whole world of thistle for me next year. Great. These beans aren't looking too bad though, guys. They're about 2 weeks out probably. Still got some leaves and whatnot back there. This ground is and how much farther behind everything is just from one end of this field to the other. I've always wondered that for the last 4 or 5 years that I've been planting this field, how it can be so much different from one end to the other, but it is. There's lap 1. Still cutting. I just love brush hogging. Guys, making a little headway here. I'll explain why I'm doing all this here later on and why there's so much of it I have to cut, but we'll get into that. It always amazes me again how these beans back here on the sandy ground take so much longer to mature than the ones up there on the heavier ground. But either way, 1 week one way or the other won't air brake me. But let me finish this little strip up right here, then let's take a little walk. I want to show you a few things. Friends, well, this is kind of what I've been wanting to dig at. I know, so let's start from the beginning. This truck, JT's very, very first paint job, just about 30 years ago now. My uncle told me he had a small business and he had a bunch of little S10s and Rangers and stuff, and well, those guys would bang them up and he wanted someone to paint them cheap. So he kind of wanted me, when I showed a little interest in it, he said, I tell you what, why don't you paint that dump truck for me and I'll buy you the best spray gun that money can buy. I want you to get the best of the best, top of the line, whatever you want. I'll even pay for the paint material. So he even loaned me his pole barn and I worked out of it for several years doing exactly what I do now. But that was my first paint job. Now go easy on me, guys. This was, like I said, the late 90s. It wasn't like she was painted yesterday. And he was old at the time, and well, the truck's been sitting here since, 2002 maybe. It's been sitting here for better than 20 years, clearly. But yeah, I put a lot of miles on this little dump truck here, actually helping him out with some other projects that he had. And well, would you look at this? I'm not the only guy that uses chain. But now the part is, this thing hasn't moved in a long damn time. I would love to do a will it start on it. I have a feeling it probably, let's rephrase that. I don't know if it'll start. I don't even know if the engine turns over. I've been too afraid to get too close to it because there's so much foliage and critters. In fact, if you look close, there's a old county truck, like a 9500 GMC, sitting right back there. Also, yeah, you can kind of see it sitting there. Been sitting as long as this one has, but it was pushed back far enough where the grapevines really took over. 2 winters ago, I was walking back here, and I walked up to that one, and there was a family of raccoons inside, and they weren't happy that I was there. So, needless to say, I kind of keep my distance from these. But so this is the truck I learned how to drive. The split rear end. This was a 10-speed. Let's see, is there any hornet nests up in there? If there probably is critters, who knows? And the hood's sitting all kind of funny on there anyway, so I don't know how bad I want to dig into that just now. Maybe after I have a few more Coors Lights and I feel like it's a better idea, I'll come back and do that, but not going to happen at this point. But this is air brakes, had a 361 in it with the governed Holley carburetor on it, which never worked right. This truck wouldn't go over 20 miles an hour. It didn't matter what gear it was in, didn't matter uphill, downhill, you just pushed the throttle and it got louder. Didn't matter, it was, I guess for that fact, it was somewhat non-dangerous to drive. But I had a lot of sand in this thing for my uncle. She certainly ain't much to look at on the inside anymore. But you know what, guys? There's a big old nest right there. I don't see anybody flying around it, but I'm not brave enough to go up in there and knock on the front door. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of cool. I've always had the idea that if I had a little bit more time, I don't think anybody would give two craps if I took it out of here. But it is air brakes, and this is one of those that has the actual parking brake cylinders on it, so I need air pressure to move this thing, or it ain't. I mean, maybe I could take my 1800 and drag it out here a little bit and get it out all that, but I don't know, guys. That could be a down the road project. That's a lot of a project there, because there just ain't nothing left of this truck. But again, I don't know. I hate to see it sit here and just get worse, because that's exactly what's happening to it. Ultimately, I think the 9500 GMC would be even better to have. That's got, from what I could see, some sort of a big block Chevy, either a 366 or 427 tall deck. I don't know much more about that one though, because, well, their family of raccoons inside wanted me nowhere near it. So that's where we are with that. Let me go show you one more thing that's interesting out here. We got to kind of wander into the forest here a little bit, but hey, that's all part of the experience, friends. Now, this used to be when I was about the same age as I was helping my uncle with that truck. This was all his land. Obviously, I still rent that field from my aunt because she is still alive. This field, however, this used to be a pretty nice field here. Ain't nothing left to it now. It's all grown over and whatnot. Oh, there it is. Where is it? Yep, here it is. I knew I'd find it. So here, by golly, in there in most of its remaining glory, this used to be my dad's soybean planter. When I was a kid, he used to use this, and he planted a hell of a lot of acres with it. Had it set up every other one. So he had 1, 2, there's one missing there, 3, 4, 5 in the front, or excuse me, 5 in the back, 4 in the front. You can kind of still see the front buckets up in there. Had it extended out just a little bit here because he had a plan. 18-inch row soybeans. Every other tire wheel, he could run the sprayer and straddle everything perfectly, never run over a bean. It was a pretty slick little outfit in the 80s for him. Worked out pretty good. Unfortunately now, trees are coming up through it. All them buckets and everything on this thing is shot. Not much to salvage on it, unfortunately. Especially, you know, this has been sitting out here since the 90s too, guys. So it's too bad, but you know, what are you gonna do? There's another little reaper over here too, which is also kind of fun. I don't exactly know what that thing is. Well, I don't know what my uncle used that for. Or what it's even doing out here. Looks like it was just a big rake of sorts. And forgive me, guys, when it comes to farm equipment of this vintage, I just don't know. You know, that's all there is to it. But hey, that's all for our little trip out in the forest today to see the fun things that are rotting away. That, well, like I say, I can't save them all, guys. I wish I could. Yeah, I don't know. What would I do with that 1965 or whatever Ford F600 tandem dump truck? I'm sure I could find something to do with it. Think it'll even run? I don't know. I'm very tempted, but it's going to be something that I would want to do in not this time of year when everything's dry and could easily set itself on fire. Maybe in the winter when there's a little snow on the ground and it ain't 79 degrees out here and humid. And the critters aren't going to come out and sting me and bite me and whatever else they want to do to get me away from their house. Can't blame them, I guess, but hey, whatever. So let's, since we're in the back of this field, I don't get back here very darn often. Let's have a look at some of these sad looking beans back here. So if you caught my video on this field this spring where I said it has to go, this is the same field, there's the red barn, has to have 28 bushel the acre to make it, blah blah, rent's cheap. So I was complaining about the nut sedge and the grasses and spray, and I don't think I could have done much more in this field, and obviously the nut sedge is still a problem. The beans don't look half bad back here, which is actually pretty surprising. And when I say half bad, that's what we got. I don't expect much more back here just because the back of this field always is just, it's terrible. This is basically pecker sand back here, guys. It doesn't grow much. And I got the forest right here keeping shade on it a lot of the time. So front half of this field, I can expect 45 to 50 bushel beans. Back half of this field, I mean, like I said, looking at this right now, 2 years ago, I would have never guessed this could look this good back here because we were into a drought and there was barely a stick to be found. But hey, you know, what are you gonna do? But nevertheless, it's way thinner back here. It just always is. There's really nothing I can do about it. I have an idea though. I think next year and probably the year after that, I might do corn in this field 2 years in a row. Really hit this hard with some atrazine and dual and see if I can knock some of this sedge out of here. Can't hurt any, I don't think. But everything else I've tried to spray on it, it just drinks it and says, that's the best you got? Well, it was. But I'm gonna come back with our guns loaded with different ammo next time. All right, friends, well, I think I got as much mowing as I wanted to get done out here. I really, like I said, I just kind of wanted to get a good look at that. Cut all these headlands back here just because all right, guys, let's get the heck out of here. Oh. Onward. Making our way to the road here. You can see, I mean, the beans are more ripe the farther this way we go in this field, which I expect. Jump off and grab one and have a look at it here. And down she goes. And down I go. There. Now again, guys, from here to there, unbelievable the amount of difference in the ground. That's all sand back there. This is hard clay. And still, so the field I got over there and this field I got on the other side of here, that field over there is great. It's kind of like the south side of that barn right there. Everything grows really good back there. Questionably on the rest of the field. I mean, these beans don't look bad up here. I'll take what they're giving me. But that field over there, that field grows great beans. Now, this one across the way here, this is going to be a different year. So let's see. Those beans are tiny. They're hard. They're ready to go, but they are small. I have to really adjust the sieves and the chaffers on the 6600 to get this one without spitting too many of them out. But then you move down 3 notches and you got some pumpkins in here that are not even close to that point in time yet. But hey, that's how she goes. I'm gonna say, guys, on this field, I'm probably 2 to 3 weeks away from getting the combine out here. And like I said, we got to go along for the ride here because this field has to average, well, let's see. So I have to get 900 bushels of beans out of this field for it to break even. Is that going to be a possibility? I don't know. We're gonna find out. All right, let's scoot back here. There. I did manage to cut myself a little path here. And guys, this field, this soybean plot just came out of left field. You know, this was the underdog that just, you know, coach called in the last shot and banged the 3-pointer. Unbelievable how this thing has turned out. If you'd have told me that this field was going to look like this a month ago, I'd have said you were crazy. Well, 2 months ago. But just, obviously it's a little behind because I planted it 10 days behind that field and 20 days behind the field next door to it. So this was the last field I planted, but let's have a look here. So, plenty of nodules, still making nitrogen. Look at the pods on that sucker. I should have left this one in the ground. Wonder if I can plant him back in. But yeah, this is what I was expecting to go 20 bushel the acre. I feel like this could be the better performing field out of the 3 now. Out of nowhere. But hey, that's cool. Guys, farming is such a gamble. You just never know what you're going to get. If I were betting against this field, hell, I'd have lost that bet. If I were betting for that one, might have lost that bet. That field don't look, you know, it's not great. It's embarrassing compared to the other two, because the other field over there, I feel like that field's going to go really, really good. But I don't know. This has always been not this one. That's always been a tough piece of ground as many years as I've been farming it. But, you know, rent's cheap. It's in the family. If I don't do it, someone else is just going to plant it anyway. So might as well be me. Well, guys, I think that's about all I've got for today. Might as well go and sneak up to the house, suck down a Coors Light or something like that, and just enjoy the rest of my Sunday. Not much more I can do. It's getting warm out here. So, guys, hey, thanks for going along with me today. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.